Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having an awesome week so far. In this class, everyone, we are looking at an IELTS Band 9 reading about London's Metro. Very famous subway system. And this material is coming from aehelp.com. Check us out there for academic IELTS, and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Let me just quickly show you those websites. Welcome, Arda, our members. By the way, everyone, this is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch. To become a member of our channel, you just need to click the join button next to the subscribe button. Welcome, Kelvin. Hello, Jyoti. Good to see many more members joining in. To join us on our websites, all you need to do is go to our websites. This is our website here for academic IELTS. It's aehelp.com. And you just simply click this red button that's above my head to join our premium IELTS package. As you can see, just to the right of me there is the logo for British Council IELTS test registration. We are an official registration center and certified agents, so you're in great hands with us. Welcome, Carolina, our moderator. And for general IELTS, it's the green background at gieltshelp.com. You just click this red button here to join the premium package. Okay, students, so yeah, if you want to get our apps, just go to your app store, grab the app Academic IELTS Help, install it, link it to your web account, or for general IELTS, get our app General IELTS Help. And to follow us on Instagram for vocabulary and videos and other free goodies, check out IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. And if you have questions about IELTS or any of these tools that I just talked about, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. And I will absolutely help you out with any questions that you may have. Also, you can get our books from Amazon if you just want to do the exams. Search for AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS. We have more and more classes this week. So right now reading, then in about 90 minutes, everybody will be able to join the chat for some listening. We will look at part 3 and 4 of an exam that we started last week. Tomorrow, members, we'll be looking at a task 1 writing, and then we'll be doing lots more speaking in the week. Okay, so first step for today is to do a bit of reading. And we're going to hop over to our second exam book and read about the London Underground. Now, here we have a nice picture again of the London Underground, the metro system of London. And when you look at a picture like this, when you read the title, The London Underground, you should be predicting. So you should be thinking, okay, what is this passage going to be about? Why is it going to discuss this? How is it going to discuss this? So what do you think, everyone? So when you read this, and we're going to have a bit of a different type of reading class today, members, so hang in there. All right, so what do you think? What is this passage going to be about? Okay. So what is the London Underground? We can ask it that way. Okay, so Arda says London Underground, the subway, the metro. All right, Umrinder says, sir, my dream came true. I got 6.5 overall in my first attempt in my IELTS exam. All thanks to you. Umrinder, that's so fantastic. I'm really happy that you got your target goal. You worked really, really hard. Umrinder, can you please send me an email so I can grab your testimonial and double thumbs up for you. Congratulations. That's awesome. Okay, you did really, really good. There comes my congrats. Boom. There you go. It's in the chat. That's for Amrinder. Okay. Jyoti says it's probably maybe the first metro in the world. Okay. So that's a good guess, Jyoti. Yeah, it's the first. It is the first metro in the world. Okay. All right. Probably it's a very important transportation system in London, right? So keep your thoughts simple. If you ask me, you know, what is this going to be about, the London Underground, I would say probably a very important transportation system in London. Why? So why is the London Metro such an important transportation system in London? Okay, so again, we want to predict a little bit. Don't rush through the title. Doing a bit of prediction will really help you to get a great score, okay? As Umrinder can attest, right? Okay. Okay, Arda says, it's faster than cars. There's no traffic. Okay. Yeah, it can move a lot of people from many places. Calvin says it's fast, convenient, and accessible. Yeah, absolutely. Calvin, I think that's some nice, simple, but good thinking. Very nice, Calvin. Absolutely. Okay. Doing a great job. Everybody's on the ball today. Okay. So, yeah, how? How does it work? Okay. So if I ask, how does it work? Answer: trains moving in a system of tubes under the ground in London. Get on at point A, get off at point B. Arda says it's affordable. Okay, good. Everybody, you're doing great. All right, so let's look at the questions today. What are we dealing with? Oh, yes, no, not given. We don't read those before the passage. It's a waste of time. We don't know which ones are given, which ones are false, which ones are not given. So we skip those. And then we have the growth of the London Underground. It's kind of a summary. And that is a good one to read. That's all in the passage. Okay, so read this one with me. And read aloud. Okay, so you can hear yourself. It's really a good way to practice reading aloud. Okay. All right. So let's do this. Let's read this aloud together. The growth of the London Underground. The first line of the Underground was constructed in 1863, and over the next something decades, additional lines would increase the breadth of the system's reach. By the start of World War I, the central part of London was completely covered. Through the mid-20th century, the focus was on making the system available to those living in the something of the city. Before 1933, there were many governing bodies. These were companies with their own contracts and land. Conversely, management of the tube today is public, looked after by the transport something. All right, so we got to fill in some blanks there. We'll come to those later. But we definitely have learned from this question that we've got some history of the London Underground happening, about its origins, how it was developed, who owns it. Okay, so these kinds of ideas are sticking in my head before I do my reading. Okay, and then here we have complete each sentence with the correct ending, A to F. Here I'm just interested in the questions or the statements as those are in the passage. So the tube map is, the map is useful because it allows a person. Beck's key insight was, London's core is. Okay, so I know that there's some information going on about the map. Okay, something about the map of the metro. All right, so far so good. So now I'm going to get into reading. And this is reading passage 1 coming from exam 4, which means that it's going to be CD4 on the website and track 5. So let's listen and read. And everybody who's watching, so Arda, Calvin, Baljeet, watch carefully, read carefully with me, because I'm going to give you a chance to read after using our chat on our website. Ooh, exciting times. So we have audio on our website for all of our reading passages, which is really great for learning. Okay, so we hop over to our website here, go into our My Student account. We finish the tour, we hop over to the audio CDs, and then we jump into CD4. Was it track 5? I think it should have been maybe track 4, not sure. It says track 5, but it should be track 4. Let me just check that. Oh yeah, it is track 5. Okay. All right, well, let's do it. Here we go.
The London Underground. One of the most notable aspects of London, the Underground, or Tube, is also one of the most utilised by locals and visitors alike. Over 1.3 billion passengers use the London Underground every year. If you have ever visited the city, it is very likely that you have been told to mind the gap. In continuous operation for over 150 years, the London Underground began as just one line run by a private corporation. Today, the system is publicly owned and is comprised of 11 separate lines. The growth and development of the Underground has mirrored London's development as, first, an industrial powerhouse, and second, a financial and tourism centre. Great Britain was the epicentre of the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries. Cities like Glasgow, Birmingham and London gave birth to inventions such as the steam engine, which revolutionised transportation and travel. People began to flock to these cities for jobs, opportunity and prosperity. London was the destination of choice for many of these people. In 1800, at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the population of London was less than 1 million people. By 1900, that number would balloon to over 6.5 million people. There were many factors which contributed to this growth, not least of which was improved sanitation. But one factor in particular allowed for the mobility of those people across the ever-expanding city, the construction and development of the London Underground. The first line was constructed in 1863. Over the next 50 years, many more lines would be added, resulting in the virtual blanketing of central London by the start of the First World War. Through the interwar period and mid-20th century, the focus for the subway developers was extending the network to the suburbs of London, where an increasing number of Londoners were now residing. Interestingly, it wasn't until 1933 that the developers of the network unified into a single governing body. Until that time, there were a host of private companies competing for contracts, land, and customers. Today, the London Underground is owned and operated by the London Transport Authority, Transport for London. Perhaps the most recognisable symbol of the London Underground is the tube map, designed in 1931 by Underground employee Harry Beck. With its many colourful lines and intricate details, the tube map is not only useful, but aesthetically pleasing as well. Indeed, a print copy of the tube map is a popular souvenir for tourists to put on their walls back home. That it is artful is, however, only part of its appeal. The tube map is incredibly useful. Just a moment spent looking at the map can help you determine how to get from any point in London to any other point. Beck was able to accomplish this by realizing that the map did not need to exactly match the reality of the tube geography. For instance, a line may go through all sorts of turns through its route, yet on the map it is represented as a straight line. This simplification worried the Underground management in 1931, but soon enough the tube map became a sensation, both for its usefulness and its elegant design. Today, the tube is used more than ever, and London continues to grow. With the centre of London becoming a financial hub over the past 50 years, more and more jobs have been created in the English capital. While this has in some sense hollowed out the core of London, it has also highlighted the need for more lines to service the ever-increasing number of London's suburbs. Additionally, tourism to London has never been higher. Well over 30 million people visited the city in 2015, each of whom undoubtedly at some point used the venerable London Underground.
All right, everyone. So that was the reading using our website. And definitely use those audio readings on the website. I just stopped the audio there. And now we're going to reread this using our own voice. And after we finish each paragraph, we're just going to quickly ask and answer what this paragraph is about. I'm going to give you an example with this first paragraph. So read with me again. And students, when you're practicing at home, you want to do this kind of redundant reading at times to improve your fluency, your comprehension. So don't just read once. Don't be shy. Read it again and do active reading where you actually analyze what you are reading by asking, what is this paragraph about? Why is the author writing this? How is the author presenting the information? So again, read with me, students, and then I'm going to get some of our members to volunteer for us today to read. Hopefully we'll have some members volunteering. Here we go. So read with me. One of the most notable, well, let's go back to the title. Always read the title. The London Underground. Okay, there it is. The picture is in my head. I'm imagining that I'm this guy here sitting, waiting for this metro train to pick me up at Waterloo Station. Okay, and now I'm reading. One of the most notable aspects of London, the Underground or Tube, is also one of the most utilized by locals and visitors alike. Over 1.3 billion passengers use the London Underground every year. If you have ever visited the city, it is very likely that you have been told to mind the gap. In continuous operation for over 150 years, the London Underground began as just one line run by a private corporation. Today, the system is publicly owned and is comprised of 11 separate lines. The growth and development of the Underground has mirrored London's development as first, an industrial powerhouse, and second, a financial and tourism center. So here I ask myself, what is this about? What is this paragraph about? It introduces the start of the Underground 150 years ago, and its importance as a foundation for London's economic and population development. Okay, so that is what I feel this paragraph is about. I'm actively reading about this and answering the question, and then I go on to the next paragraph. And members, today, instead of me going on with this next paragraph, I'm going to ask some of you to volunteer and read, and I'm going to give you a bit of feedback on your reading after you finish. So I'll let you know what I think you should be focusing on, okay? So let's hop over to the website to do this, and I think many of you kind of have an idea of what's going on here. So you need to log into the website, okay, members? So log into the website. I do believe most of you have accounts. If you don't, send me an email, okay? And then go to your My Student account. That's up at the top there. So click on that My Student account, and then click on this Student Partner Speaking, okay? So click on the Student Partner Speaking. And once we're in the Student Partner Speaking, we accept the terms that you're going to read nicely in this case, okay? And then once you're in here, ping me with the blue envelope and say, I want to volunteer to read, okay? So I see we have Sandra in here, who's one of our members. I see Sandra. Let's see who else is in here. Kelvin's in here as well. So Kelvin, Sandra, you can go ahead and ping me. Arda, I know that you can get in here as well, okay? And then just ping me and you'll read the paragraph. Don't be shy, it's all good. We all get a chance to read, and I'll give you feedback. I'll let you know. I'll be like, okay, that was good reading, or you know, you need to work on your fluency a little bit. Don't worry about your pronunciation of words, etc. So we already have some volunteers here. I see that we have Sangam and Anish, but I'm not sure if Sangam and Anish are members. So if you are, let me know. But I'm looking for members first here, okay? And it's a good way to practice kind of your speaking as well, okay? All right, Arda, looks like Arda's volunteering. Anybody else? Maybe Arda will encourage others. Calvin's volunteering as well. Okay, well, Arda voted for Calvin, so let's see if Calvin's up for some reading, okay? All right, okay, Calvin, good, you're there. All right, let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to call you Calvin. Just mute YouTube so we don't get feedback while you're reading. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, Calvin.
Hi. How are you?
I am doing great. Thanks for volunteering. That's awesome. So this is kind of a new approach to reading, and I'll ask you to read a paragraph for everybody, and then we'll talk about it. You're reading in the paragraph a little bit. How does that sound?
Yeah, let's try.
All right. Yoda, you know Master Yoda from Star Wars?
Yep.
Yeah, Master Yoda has a very good saying. Master Yoda says, do or do
Don't
not.
try.
There is no try.
Try.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
All right, so let's just do it, Calvin. Okay, so here we go. Can you see my screen now for the next paragraph?
I'm only seeing the schedule screen. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
It'll pop up. Yeah, okay.
It's
So
now. It's now
awesome.
on.
Super. So whenever you're ready, just start reading comfortably, nice and aloud. Don't stress about it. Just get through it. You're doing awesome. You're the first volunteer. So whenever you're ready, go for it.
Okay. Great Britain was the epicenter of the industrial revolutions in the 18th and 19th centuries. Cities like Glasgow, Birmingham, and London gave birth to inventions such as the steam engine, which revolutionized transportations and travel. People began to flock to these cities for job, opportunity, and prosperity. London was the destination of choice for many of these people. In 1800s, at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the population of London was less than 1 million people. By 1900s, that number would balloon to over 6.5 million people. There were many factors which contribute to this growth, not least of which was improved sanitation. But one factor in particular allowed for the mobility of those people across the ever-expanding city, the constructions and developments of the London Underground.
Okay, that was super good. All right, Calvin, well done. Thumbs up. Um, Nice speed. That speed of reading, I'm sure if you're reading that fast aloud, then you're probably even faster when you're reading quietly. One really good part of your reading, Calvin, that I really liked, and some students don't do this, and it's an important part of reading, is you're reading with punctuation. So you're actually intonating your reading. So like when you read, for example, this part here, you read it as cities like Glasgow, Birmingham, and London gave birth to inventions. So you're reading the commas, you're reading the periods, and that's really important for comprehension. And it's important to do that when you're reading silently as well, to make sure that you're pausing for those commas and those periods. It makes a lot more sense when you read like that. So that was super good. Okay, question, Calvin. What is this paragraph about? What's the main kind of goal of this paragraph?
I think it tells a lot about London. Like it's the most like the epicenter of the Britain and its revolutions, and it also mentions other cities like Glasgow, Birmingham, and one of like the most important cause of this is because of the constructions of London Underground.
Okay, good. That was a nice finish. Yeah. So you have the right idea, Calvin. That's absolutely, you're right. That's exactly what this paragraph is about. Now, what you want to do, so once you have this kind of an idea in your head, then what you want to do is you want to take that big idea, because you used quite a few words, right, to describe it, which is fine. And then you want to just kind of condense it into a simple way, okay? So what I would do here, based on what you said, because you said it correctly, is I would say the growth of London and the importance of the underground for this growth. Right? So that would be the simple way to kind of really condense or summarize it. So that's your next step. And once you have that in your head, then you go to the next paragraph and you keep moving. And when you practice that, Calvin, then you will be able to kind of come up with a concise summary very, very quickly and move through those paragraphs, and you'll be fantastic when it comes to the questions, okay?
Yeah, all right. Thank you, sir.
That was really good. That was really good. Thank you for being the first volunteer. Okay, let's hope that we can find someone else to follow your lead, okay?
Okay.
All right, keep watching, Calvin. Thanks, bye. Okay, so that was Calvin, first out of the gates. That was super cool. Okay, let's see if we have somebody else volunteering now that everybody sees it's not that painful. If Calvin can do it, right? So let's see if there's anybody else volunteering. Okay, there's Arda. So let's have Arda follow here with Calvin. Okay, let me see if Arda's ready. I can try, Arda says. Okay, sure. Let's do this. Are you ready? Okay, and if I'm not seeing members volunteering, then I will take others as well. So hang in there. I do see that we have some other people volunteering. All right, so let me hop back. Let me call first. Actually, let's not be too hasty.
Hello.
Hi, Arda.
How are you, sir?
Great. Thanks for being the second volunteer here. You want to just jump right in and start reading?
Yep.
Okay, just give me 2 seconds. I've got to pull up the right screen on my end. All right, here we go whenever you're ready.
The third one, right? The third.
Starting from the first line, yeah.
All right. The first line was constructed in 1863. Over the next 50 years, many more lines would be added, resulting in the virtual blanketing of central London by the start of the First World War. Through the interwar period and mid-20th century, the focus for the subway developers was extending the network to the suburbs of London, where an increasing number of Londoners were now residing. Interestingly, it wasn't until 1933 that the developers of the network unified into a single governing body. Until that time, there were a host of private companies competing for contracts, land, and customers. Today, the London Underground is owned and operated by the London Transport Authority, Transport for London.
Very good. Almost too good, Arda. And I jokingly say that, but on a serious note, Arda, when I say that was almost too good, you're almost too fast. So especially for the IELTS, you can actually slow down a bit. So you can be like 20% slower easily. Okay. If you're reading that fast, even in your mind, you're going to finish the passage in like 5 minutes. Okay. And the situation that might happen is that, you read all of it, but you might not retain all of it. You might not hold all that information. So if you can read 20% slower and that increases your comprehension by an extra 20%, then that's a good exchange. That's a good trade. Okay. So yeah, you want to do that. And you did a really good job, just like Calvin, on focusing on punctuation as well. Okay, if you read 20% slower, you can do even more emphasis on the punctuation. Like you can be like, interestingly, it wasn't until 1933 that the developers of the network unified into a single governing body. So you see, like a little bit slower, even more emphasis, even more, and then more visualization, more comprehension. You don't need to go that fast. Okay, so
you're right. Yeah.
University exams, once you're in your English speaking university, you have to read pretty fast in those exams for sure. But IELTS, you can take it a bit slower. Okay.
All right.
So let me ask you, what is this paragraph about?
This paragraph kind of tells us about the history of London Underground, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely. The history of the underground, and I would say near the end there, and the ownership.
Yeah.
Right? So ownership is part of that history, but the paragraph seems to emphasize that. So I would add that part in to be a little bit more precise. So the history of the underground and the ownership. Yeah. Very good. Very good, Arda. Okay. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was Arda. Arda, thank you so much for volunteering. Let's hope we've encouraged a couple more. I'm hoping you've encouraged a couple
Hopefully,
more.
yeah.
Okay, of our members. Thanks, Arda. I appreciate that. All right. Bye, Arda. Okay, so that was Arda with our third paragraph there. Thank you, Arda. Okay, let's see if we have any more readers here. Pravasha, hopefully Pravasha is encouraged here. Students, you don't need to compare your reading to others, okay? It can be just you, all right? We all read differently. It's totally fine. Let me see if I can take another volunteer, okay? I'm not seeing any more of our members, so if I don't see another member pop up here, I see Sandra's in here, but I don't see Sandra volunteering for reading. So I'll take somebody else in this case. Okay, I think Mehmet's been in here for a bit, so let's see if Mehmet wants to read. Okay, Mehmet, are you ready to read? All right, again, members, I'm looking for you first because this is a members chat class, but if you're not volunteering, I'll grab somebody else and give them a chance. Okay, I want to encourage you. Mehmet says yes. Okay, cool, Mehmet. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, Mehmet.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic, Mehmet. Are you ready to read a paragraph for us?
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Okay, let me just hop over here to the correct paragraph and then we will get going. Okay, so we're starting from perhaps the most recognizable. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. Perhaps the most recognizable symbol of the London Underground is the tube map, designed in 1931 by Underground employee Harry Beck. With its many colorful lines and intricate details, the tube map is not only useful but aesthetically pleasing as well. Indeed, a print copy of the tube map is a popular souvenir for tourists to put on their walls back home. That is artful is, however, only part of its appeal. The tube map is incredibly useful. Just a moment spent looking at the map uh, help you determine how to get from any point in London to any other point. Beck was able to accomplish this by realizing that the map did not need to exactly match the reality of the tube geography. For instance, I can see the rest of the paragraph because of your head.
It's moving.
For instance, a line may go through all sort of turns through its route, yet on the map it's represented as a straight line. This simplification worried the underground management in 1931, but soon enough the tube map became a sensation, but for its usefulness and its elegant design.
Okay, great. That was solid. Okay, that was some solid reading. You were reading quite fast. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think a lot of IELTS candidates are kind of worried about not having enough time for the reading, so they're reading fast, and I think that's actually sometimes the issue for some candidates is they're reading faster than they should, and then they get into difficult situations. You did a good job. I mean, you were quite fluent, quite smooth in your reading, clear pronunciation for most words. The one tip I would give you is don't worry about the pronunciation of words that catch you by surprise. So I noticed that the word intricate, intricate is another way to say detailed. That one kind of caught you off guard. Or, for example, near the end here, the word simplification caught you off guard as well. So that kind of got you stuck, right? And there were a couple places. My head got you stuck at one point as well, right, Mehmet? And that's you. Yeah, you want to avoid. Luckily, I won't be. My head won't be on your IELTS passage, so you don't have to worry about my head. But you do have to worry about words with tricky pronunciation like that. So you want to avoid getting stuck when you're reading, because when you get stuck pronouncing a word, then your brain also loses the content of what you're reading, right? It's kind of it starts to focus on the word and stops to focus on the actual information.
Yeah, I get it.
Right? So the workaround for that, the kind of trick, if you will, to avoid this is to actually slow your reading a bit so that you give your eyes more time and your brain more time to look forward, right? So if you slow down your reading a little bit here, for example, in the beginning, then your eyes will get to the word intricate sooner, and that will give your brain a better chance to be able to just read through the information. Okay. And once you practice that, then you'll get faster and smoother as well. So focus on, again, going a little bit. It's kind of weird that I'm giving people this advice, but definitely it works. So focus on reading a little bit slower, give your eyes a bit more of a chance to go ahead in the reading, and then don't worry too much about the pronunciation. So especially if it's a new word that you're not familiar with, you don't know the meaning of, then whatever way you pronounce it, it's fine, like intricate, intricate, okay, whatever works. Just make sure that you focus on reading smoothly so that your brain can capture the information, okay?
Okay, I get it.
All right. Okay, Mehmet, what is this paragraph about?
Oh, I think it's about tube map style and design.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. So it's about the design and utility. Utility meaning its usefulness, right? Utility of the tube map. Yeah. I agree, 100%. That's what it's about. Mehmet, thank you so much for volunteering. Were you a member before of the channel?
Yes.
A while back, right? I remember we had a Mehmet. I'm not sure if I didn't know if that was you. I was just guessing, but I remember we had a Mehmet as a member a while back.
I've been a member for a month.
Okay, are you currently a member?
Oh, yes, but it's over in a few days.
Oh, okay, because I didn't see you in the chat, right? So I don't know who's in the chat. But okay, all right, Mehmet, thank you so much. Well, I hope you hang in there and keep coming back because we've got lots of learning.
Oh, okay, see you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mehmet. Bye. All right, that was Mehmet, and he's hung up, so that's awesome. Okay, Mehmet, very brave, good reading. Okay, Sandra's now in here as well, I can see. Okay, Sandra, sure, another one of our members. Are you ready? Sandra, for a little bit of reading. And it's good practice. I can give you a bit of feedback on your reading and what you need to focus on, okay? So nice job, everyone. And I see we just had a new member join. I can't read the writing, so you're gonna have to tell me your name, new member. Okay. All right, Sandra is ready. Let me reach out to Sandra.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Sandra.
Yeah, how are you, sir?
I am doing great. How are you?
I great as well.
Cool. Are you ready to read a paragraph with us?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, sounds good. Let me just hop over and we'll get going here. So, okay, it's the last one here. So here we go. Okay, whenever you're ready, starting with today the tube is. Okay.
Okay, sir. Today, the tube is used more than ever, and London continues to grow, with the center of London becoming a financial hub over the past 50 years. More and more jobs have been created in the English capital. While this has, in some sense, hollowed out the core of London, it also highlights the need for more lands to service the ever-increasing number of London suburbs. Additionally, tourism to London has ever been higher, well over 30 million people visited the city in 2015, each of whom undoubtedly at the same point used the vulnerable London Underground.
Okay, that was good. That was great. All right, Sandra, well done. So good speed. Okay, that speed that you're reading right there is absolutely fine for the IELTS exam. So if you're reading at that speed, it will not take you more than 7 to 8 minutes for each passage on average. And then you have 12 to 13 minutes to answer the questions, which basically means that you have about a minute per question on average. And that's a lot of time. Students often don't realize how much time that is, but if you count 60 seconds, that's quite a bit of time on average for each question. So that's fast enough, okay? Now the key, of course, is to make sure that you understand what you're reading at the same time, okay? If I can criticize your reading a little bit, I would say that you want to intonate a bit more. It was a bit robotic, the reading. You did read the punctuation, which was good, but it was a little bit robotic. So you want to be a bit more melodic. Like today, the tube is used more than ever, right? It's a little bit more blah, 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 like up and down, up and down. But that's just something extra. Let me ask you this, Sandra, what is this paragraph about?
So this paragraph talk about the growth of the London. It's counted 30 million people in 2015.
Yeah, I kind of agree. There's a little, it's the conclusion, right? So there's definitely a bit of that in there. I think it's, if you were to ask me, I would say it's emphasizing the current importance of the London Underground, or recent importance of the Underground. Okay, so it's talking about 2015, but it's more in the now, right? Like it's saying like now the London Underground has basically made a lot of holes under the city. The city is big, it's a financial center, and the London Underground is a big part of this existence of London, right? So that's kind of the now of the London, right? So it's brought it into present, more or less present time. And yeah, when you're reading dates like 2015, as long as your eye catches it, you don't have to go back and reread that for sure. Okay. Sandra, thank you for reading the conclusion. That was great.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Keep it up. See you in class.
So, okay, so actually my name pronoun was Chandra. Chandra.
Chandra.
Yeah.
Okay. Chandra. Yeah. All right, I'll remember that for next time. Chandra. So it's an emphasis on the first syllable. Okay, thank you, Chandra.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, have a great day. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and members, students, if I ever mispronounce your name, please stop me. Let me know. Okay, I do want to pronounce your names correctly. There's a lot of beautiful names out there. All right. Venus, thank you. Welcome to our group of members. We just finished reading, everybody. Now it's time to answer these questions. So thank you to our volunteers for the reading. I hope you kind of enjoyed that new approach to the reading. And now we'll take a look at the questions and we'll go through the questions together. So the first set of questions is this yes, no, not given. Okay, so first question, over 1 million passengers use the tube each year. This is present tense. The number is 1 million, 1 followed by 6 zeros. Is it important? Important to know the number of passengers? Absolutely yes, right? So yes, it's very important. It emphasizes the need for the London Underground. Is it true? So is this true? Is it over 1 million passengers? Mehmet says yes. Mal says yes. Yeah, how many? Active reading, bonus question. How many people? Chandra says yes as well. Okay, so yeah, the answer is yes, which is okay, which is true, right? So the answer is yes. How many people? Okay, don't overthink it. Yeah, it's 1.3 billion. Is 1.3 billion over 1 million? In fact, it is 1,300 million or 130 million, depending on whose billion you're looking at, American or British. Either way, you're definitely over 1 million, right? So 1.3 billion over 1 million, absolutely, okay? So logical, simple thinking, careful, okay? The tube is privately owned. Is it important to know who owns the tube? I mean, it is talking about the London Underground. Just like when I teach about speaking about an object for part 2 and speaking cue cards, remember origin is one of the important points that we discuss. So where an item comes from. The London Underground is a type of object. Let me take off my headset. I'm probably screaming at you. So the London Underground is a type of object. So its origin, its history, its ownership is important, right? So it's important, yes. Okay. It's definitely important. Humans are often curious about, well, who owns it? Whose is it? Right? So it makes sense that it is. Okay, and is it privately owned? So is it now? Because this is present tense. Always pay attention to the tense in these yes, no, not given, true, false, not given questions. So is it past, present, or future? This is present. So is it now, presently? Privately owned. So does Mr. Smith own the London Underground? Artist says, no, it's not privately owned. It was in the past. So the answer is no. Okay, very good. It's no. So yes for the first one, no for the second one. Let me use a green here. It's better for answers. Here we go. Let's go to the next question. The steam engine was invented in London. Okay. Is it important to know where the steam engine was invented? Think about this. It's kind of an interesting one, especially if you visualize it. Is it important to know where the steam engine was invented? Artist says, I don't remember. So if you don't remember, you can check, right? Because there was something about the invention of the steam engine, right? But my answer here, if you're really curious, answer here is probably not. So Mehmet says it was invented in the UK, but not in London. I would probably say probably not. So this is where some good critical thinking comes in, because the metro or the underground uses electricity. I don't think the underground has ever used a steam engine. Do you know why? So why wouldn't we have a steam engine in the metro? Anybody? I'm pretty sure you can all kind of get it now, why it's probably not important the exact location of where the steam engine was invented. But I would check. I remember it was somewhere in the beginning where it was talking about the development of London. So it says cities like Glasgow, Birmingham, and London gave birth to inventions such as the steam engine. Yeah, so here we see steam engine, but we don't know if it was Glasgow, Birmingham, and London, or another city, because it says cities like. Okay, so cities like. And again, it's not that important to know exactly where the steam engine was invented, because the metro really is not a steam engine, right? It's an electric train. Because if we put a steam engine in the metro, people would choke on the fumes, right? You're in a tube underground with smoke coming out of the steam engine. Yeah, not so fun, okay? I don't think too many people would ride the metro with a burning steam engine in the underground. You'd have to have some pretty good ventilation. Right? Okay, so here we go. This one, not given. Right? We wouldn't go into that much detail. It's too much detail for an irrelevant connection. Okay? It's just mentioned to emphasize the growth of the city, but not specifically for the development of the metro. Right? Okay, London grew by a factor of 6 from 18 to 1900. Is the growth of London important? Is the growth of London important? Answer here, I'm sure many of you will get it, yes, because so it must be given, right? So this is given, okay? And if it's given, then is it true or is it false? True, false. So I'm showing you the logic of how to figure out these types of questions, okay? True, false, probably. Okay, if you're short on time and you're thinking probably, you should answer yes. Okay, if you have time, you can check. Right? Yeah, Mehmet says it would be pretty tricky to vent the steam coming into those tubes or going into those tubes. Yeah, and the fumes from the burning of the coal, or I think it's just coal. But yeah, okay, so here, probably yes. And we have this here as well if we go back, okay? So by 1900, that number would balloon to 6.5 million people. Okay. In 1800, at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the population of London was less than 1 million. So less than 1 million. 1900, 6.5 million. London grew by a factor of 6. Factor of 6 means 6 times bigger. Yes. Okay. Sandra says 4 is yes and 5 is no. Well, let's check out if 5 is a no. Okay, Sandra? So here we go. Improved sanitation was the least important factor in London's growth. Is sanitation important to know for the growth of London? I would say probably yes. So, is it true? I would probably say I don't know. I have to check. Okay, if I don't know, I have to check. Now, here, I would probably skim read for the word sanitation. Hopefully, that word comes up. Okay, that's my best chance to find this answer. I do remember, because I was using active reading, that sanitation was near the beginning where it was talking about the growth of London. So somewhere here, the growth, right? I'm still on that paragraph, okay? So there were many factors which contributed to this growth, not least of which was improved sanitation. And there's that beautiful word, sanitation. So I know I'm on the right path here. Okay. And it says not least, double negative. So double negative equals a positive, right? It means is important, right? It's that double negative. So then Pravasha Singh says that, well, in that case, number 5 is a yes. Logically makes sense as well, too, right? So you need a clean city to have big population, because if the city doesn't have good sanitation, you have disease, sickness, people dying, people not living in the city. So the answer here is yes. Okay. Oh, sorry. It's no. Because here it says least important. So careful with that. Okay. So number 5 is no. Watch the negatives. Okay. There's often a question like that in the true, false, not given. Not always, students, but there's often a question like that that tries to catch you on the tense and the negative, okay? So careful with the negatives. Okay? And that's, I mean, I think it's kind of a nasty way to catch students on the IELTS exam for 1 or 2 marks. And the other one is careful with the tenses. Okay. So the other one is the tenses. Remember that question here that says the tube is privately owned, and artist says, well, it says it was, but now it's not, right? So here it's this tense that kind of gets you. So careful with that. Okay. All right. So that one is no. Okay, viewers, members, I'm running out of time here and I have to set up for the next class. But figure out these questions on your own and send them to my email and I'll give you the answer key. So here is the body paragraph that you have to fill in, the growth of the London Underground. And this is kind of looking at the history. This video will be up on the channel, so you can go back and check out this question and then give answers for the spaces 6 to 9. And then this last one here is 10 to 13, and you have to match the correct endings to these statements. You all did a wonderful job reading today. Thank you, Chandra. Thank you, Mehmet. It was really cool to hear Kelvin and Arda reading as well. That's what you want to do. Practice that reading. Read books in English. Okay, reading's fun. You need to give it a chance. All right, students. So send me your answers. I'll send you back the answer key. Okay, I'll send you back the answer key for those questions. And we'll have a listening class coming up pretty quick here. That will be for parts 3 and 4, continuation from that listening that we started last week. Okay, so new members, get in there. Thank you for joining. Send me an email so I can hook you up with your perks. Okay, and remember, everyone, these materials are coming from aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. So check out those websites. This is the academic website here at aehelp.com. Make sure to join our premium package by clicking on that red button. And for general IELTS, click on that red button at gieltshelp.com. Join the premium package there. Thank you, Carolina, for moderating. You're very welcome. Jyoti, you're welcome. Thank you, everyone, for being with me. Come back in half hour and join me for some listening. I'm Adrian, and I'm signing out for now, but I'll see you soon. Peace.